A man's pride was hurt. He went into the water to test his skills as a sailor, but they told him he was too old. However, he did not quit. Instead, he kept trying until 6 elite soldiers stood up and took off their hats in respect for him. So watch this video to the end to find out what happened to him. Do not forget to like and subscribe for more videos about the most extraordinary people in the world. Marvin Booker was born on April 6, 1943. The future athlete was born in Chicago, USA. His family lived in public housing in a poor neighborhood. Marvin had 3 brothers and 2 sisters. Unfortunately, when the boy was only 8 years old, his father left the family, and they were left with nothing. His mother had to work several jobs at once to put food on the table. This made her rarely spend time with her children. So from an early age, Marvin learned to take care of himself. When the guy grew up a little, he began to feel uncomfortable living in the same house with his mother. That's why he ran away from home. At first, Marvin had to sleep outdoors, but soon he got a job at a local grocery store and was able to rent his own apartment. However, the young man was drafted into the Army and sent to Vietnam. It was there that Marvin realized that he could easily become a Navy SEAL. After returning home, the former soldier tried to enroll in the Special Forces, but he was rejected because of his age. They say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. However, Marvin was confident that he would succeed if he trained hard. The ex-serviceman spent several months preparing for the tests. During this time, he trained his body, ate right, and studied all the necessary literature. And finally, he decided to try again, to pass the exams and get into the Navy SEALs. But even before Marvin took the first test, the instructor said that he was unlikely to make it. "You're too old. All you'll do is embarrass yourself," they said. Despite this, the former soldier still passed the exams, and although he didn't show bad results, he still wasn't accepted to the Special Forces. However, this didn't upset him at all. On the contrary, the man became even more determined to prove to everyone that he was capable of becoming a Navy SEAL. Every day, Marvin trained twice, worked his regular job, and spent time with his wife and children. He never forgot his dream, though. And a year later, he decided to try his luck again. When Marvin came to the military base, the instructors were surprised. The man had trained so hard over the past year that now he looked like a real Navy SEAL. He was very fit, strong, and fast. So the instructors let him take the test without any extra privileges. However, they still didn't have high hopes for him. But Marvin proved them wrong, completed the first part of the test brilliantly, and moved on to the next stage. However, here the man failed. Out of 5 exercises, he only managed to finish 3. Despite this, he was given another chance. After all, the instructors admitted that they'd never seen such a persistent man, and so they gave him one last test. The final stage consisted of 4 exercises, and Marvin had to complete all of them. If he did, he'd be allowed to join the Special Forces. But if he failed again, he'd be disqualified. At the beginning of the test, everything seemed to be going well. The man easily swam the 1.6 kilometers distance, but then he started having problems. In the second exercise, he had to run 5 kilometers. For this, he had no more than 37 minutes. However, the man completed the task in 42 minutes. Marvin was very upset about this, because he knew that he wouldn't be accepted into the Special Forces. But he heard the instructor say, "I haven't seen such perseverance for a long time. Even if you don't make it this time, you'll definitely make it next time. Come back to us next month." These words gave Marvin hope again. Maybe he really could make it. The man came back next month and repeated the test. He swam, ran, did push-ups, and pulled himself up as best he could. Marvin felt that this time he'd done his best. He waited for the results and prepared for the worst. But the instructors had a surprise for him. They told him that he had passed all the tests and was officially a Navy SEAL. They admitted that they'd never met a more persistent and strong-willed person. In addition, they said that the 44-year-old man had shown such good results that he could be enlisted in the Special Forces. In fact, Marvin was so strong that he set a record by pulling himself up 58 times in 8 minutes, which was previously considered impossible. No one could believe that the old man could do it. Many doubted his abilities, but in the end, he proved that they were wrong. In general, Marvin became the oldest Navy SEAL in history. He served in this position until he was 62 years old. Marvin's story inspired many people. They started calling him the incredible old man. After retiring, he continued to lead an active lifestyle. He also began sharing his story with others, motivating them not to give up on their dreams. He often visits schools and other public places, and everywhere he tells people to always follow their hearts and never listen to those who say you're too old or too weak. One day, the old man was invited to speak at one of the naval bases. The event was also attended by top officials. Before the start of the event, the sailors greeted Marvin with honors. To his surprise, they carried him on their shoulders around the entire base. When he entered the building where the event was to be held, 6 Navy SEALs stood up and took off their hats. Of course, this was done out of respect for the man. He was very moved by this. After all, he'd devoted his entire life to the Navy. But that's not all. The men then presented him with a box. The old man opened it and saw a model of a ship inside. The men explained that he could take this trophy home and pass it down to his descendants. They also asked him to tell his story to his grandchildren, so that they knew how great their grandfather was. Of course, Marvin agreed. He thanked the men for their respect and promised to keep their traditions alive. The old man was deeply moved. He couldn't believe that after so many years, people still respected and honored him. Now Marvin continues to share his story with others. He often visits various events dedicated to the Navy. The old man is married, has 5 children and several grandchildren. And every evening before bed, he tells them how important it is to follow your dreams and never give up. He also says that no one should tell you what you can and can't do. You should always go for it. And if you work hard enough, you'll definitely succeed. So what can we learn from this story? First of all, that it's never too late to follow your dreams. No matter how old you are, you can always achieve your goal if you work hard enough. Secondly, we should learn from this story to always respect other people and their achievements. The old man deserved the respect of the Navy SEALs, and they showed it to him in the best possible way. And thirdly, we must remember that perseverance is the most important quality in achieving our goals. The old man did not give up even when he faced difficulties, and in the end, he achieved his goal. Now, dear friends, write in the comments below what you think about the old man's story and whether you liked the video. Don't forget to like it and subscribe. See you soon. Bye.